Hello everyone, thank you so much for joining. This is day 12 of Oracle Integrations training session. And in these sessions, we will cover invoking VIP report using web services. And obviously, we will see that how we can utilize that VIP report invocations in OIC. So just for brief, if you remember in the last sessions, we created one of the VIP report, which was just giving that invoices data, which invoice we created. So just to navigate again, so if you remember last time we navigate invoices, we navigate to VIP reports through this tools and reports and analytics. There is another way to navigate to this analytics just directly by looking for URL. In the URL, remove everything after .com and just you can add analytics and just hit that one. So it will open you that catalog where we just have to write that VIP report queries. So you can see we just when we navigated it's directly open to open that transactions business intelligence, that's BIP one. So in that if you remember we created data model and the reports. So these two we are able to see here, data model and the report. And now if you want to navigate that where you will navigate, so just click on catalog and it will show you the directly that navigation path. So just while looking for the navigation part, we will be able to see. So as just like it was recently done, so that's why I directly open the page there. And directly, if you will see share folder, inside the share folder we have custom, and inside the custom we have one folder name as integrations, and inside the integrations folder we have our reports and our data models and the report. Similar things you can find from the folder hierarchy also here in this side. So now this is the report. So this report we get to know that how we can run this report. So just click on open here and submit that report. So as of now, our report doesn't have any parameters. It will run directly. And in our reports, we added one of the validations where it will display only the invoices which invoice name is start from XX underscore. So that's we have already ended query. So this one, right? XX underscore rest. So whatever invoice number started with this, it will list down all the invoices. And same with this invoices, we just use the REST API to create the invoices. So let's say one of the example, I'm going to create one more invoice, just name as 6, going to submit. So that 6, the next invoice that will be also there in our one of the list. I can show you here. Well, I'm just going to make it back. So just click on catalog again so that it will just navigate you to the back page. You must provide a value for the legal entity. Where is legal entity? Why it's asking for legal entity this time? Let's see, this was the same payload we used last time. Maybe there was some configuration issues. Okay, let it be. So this is our report. So this report we have to invoke. So in Oracle, they provided web services to invoke the BIP report. And if you look for the web services, so we have the SOAP web services to invoke this BIP report. And this VIP report where we have to invoke this VIP report from this Oracle ERP applications. That you can see just for that EXSP F13. It can be your prod, it can be your UAT, SID, or any instance. So let me first find that web services for that. So I'm just looking here. If we will just have a small query, you will get to know that the web services and also the common one we have that external report WSS services. This external report WSS services is that web services which help us to execute that BIP reports and it will return the BIP report data in response. So we'll show you that also that what kind of response we are going to receive. So let me just navigate to any of this Oracle page. Yeah, let me open this page. We have this one. This is public report services. Now we need WSS external report service. This is not the page. Let's just going to now back. We just check this one. So where is this schedule services? It's also not the page, or you can log in any of that. Let me go to the portal here. I have already made a account of that report web services. Just for brief, I'm just going to show you that where you will find that one. Where is this stuff? Check here, this portal. Edit. So whatever is there. So I have this web services. So similar way, if you remember, for any REST API, we were in Oracle doc, we were looking for the API, and whatever API we have, that the resource URI, we are adding our Fusion host. So similar way, this is this is the web services to invoke VIP report, and this web services name is that external report WSS services. And if you will see that what will be the host for that, so in which future instance we are going to hit, that host will be for that future instance. For example, this is our future instance where we have this VIP reports. So I will just take a copy of this host, and I will just give it as a prefix here. So this will be our web services to invoke the VIP report. So just to validate that whatever host you given and that the web services you select, it is working fine. The very simple way is just copy this one and post in the browser. So once you will submit this in browser, it will display you the XML code. And if you will search this XML code, this is the XML code will define that how many operations and what all kinds of operations are available for this external report WSS services. So now here you can see we are sure that our host is working fine, and this is the web services for this VIP report call. Now we have to use this web services. It means that we have to invoke these web services. So just like we have the REST API and we are Postman to invoke the REST web services, you can also invoke the SOAP web services in the Postman, but generally I'm using UI tool. But in the SOAP UI tool, I'm executing the SOAP web services. So let me just have a copy of this SOAP web services. Now, I'm just going to copy this URL here. So in this SOAP UI tool, you just have to create one SOAP project where you can pass this web services to load that one. So for making that one, just go to files, and here you can see you have new SOAP project. Just click on new SOAP project, and here you can see initial WSDL. So you can see this is our SOAP web services. SOAP web services containing the WSDL URL. That's the WSDL URL only, and this is the same URL we have to pass it here so that this SOAP UI tool can execute this SOAP web services. And this is the project name we have to pass. You can give any of the project name. So just like I'm going to give project name like run report service, run report SOAP. Now I'm just going to click on OK. Once you will click on OK, whatever services are there available for for this web services, that will be loaded in this screen in the tools. Just click on OK. You can see all these tools and all the operations are loading here. So if you're going to scroll, and you can see in this external report WSS services, we have list of operations. This list of operations we can utilize or we can work for the reports. So in all these operations, we have one of the operations as run report. This run report is the operations which is going to help us to execute BIP report directly using this SOAP web services. So for invoking this or for executing this run report, what kind of request payload you have to pass? Just double click on this request one, you will get to know that's the payload here. So I'm just going to show you payload. This is the XML request payload which we have to pass to this web services to invoke the BIP report. And out of all this, it's not mandatory, all the fields are mandatory. So let me explain you all these parameters, all the fields one by one, and then we will invoke our BIP report. So I'm just going to open a new tab to make it Excel. Now, here you can see the very first we have header, In the header, like it's containing that the user ID, password, and all these details. Let it be the same right now, whatever we have. And in the body, you can see this is the body here. And inside the body, we have one of the operations that's run report. This is the operation we selected. If you remember this run report. And in the inside the run report, we have the report request. And in the report request, that is the request payload we can consider. So for this run report operations, what is the request payload? That's the report request will define that one. You can see all these are inside this one only. And all these values, whatever value we have to pass within this report request only. And whatever hierarchy I am going to show you here, right? You can see headers, then we have body, inside body we have run report, inside the run report we have report request, then we have XDO properties, then we have attribute calendar and all. Same you will find in OIC. I will show you also that how we can invoke this from the services in OIC. So now let's finalize and figure out which all fields are required. So here you can see this is the XDO properties. So if you will see this XDO properties list, so this XDO, if I can show you here, so what this XDO means. So when we are saying that BIP reports, in the BIP reports, we have data models and we have the reports. So this report is that XDO file and this data model is that XDM file. If you will go to the properties here, you will be able to find this one, the details, the properties of this data models and properties of this report. So I just have to go for properties here. Yeah, you can see this signature is .xdm. So xdm is something that's saying that report data model. And if I can show you properties for this report, so for properties for the report is that XDO. So as we know that in Fusion applications, we created the BIP reports, and the BIP reports having already the properties and the default set of values and whatever configurations we have, it's already there. So in this case, whatever properties value we have here, it's not required to pass. So either you can delete this node here, you can delete this XML payload, or you can just remove the value from the mapping. So the question mark is coming by default. You just have to remove that value. So once you will remove that value, it means that this is null, and in XML, when you will pass null, it will not consider the value. So I just now just to make it more simple and easy, I'm just going to remove this XDO properties list, which is not required even while calling the BIP reports, because this XDO properties and all that meta details, name and all already there. So I'm just going to remove this one. Now here we have inside the report request, we have attribute calendars, attribute format, attribute locate, templates and all. And if you will see all these we already set, all these are already configured. So where it's configured, if you will open this report, remember when we are running the report from web services, we are not focusing on data model because we created reports, and in the reports we already link the data model, this XDM. You can see the underscore DM, I can show you here. This is our report we created. In this report, we already link this DM. So using web services or OIC, we will not focus on DM, the data model, we will focus on the reports only. And whatever value we have to pass, that value will be related to data reports only. Now you can see here, we have next thing is that attribute calendars, formats, local and all. And if you will see, this is our template we created. And if you will go to the view or list view, here you can see the output format, types, template, name, default layout, default format, apply style, all these properties are already there. Locally you can see as English. So it's already configured here, so no need to pass it here. So what value you can remove? Attribute calendar we can remove. And after the attribute calendar, we have one of the field that's attribute format. So this attribute format is just linked to this the default format here. You can see the format report output format. So this report output format is linked to this attribute format. So if you will not pass any value from the in this attribute format, so whatever default format is there, it will pick by default. So as of now, default format will be given CSV. If we will not pass any value in this attribute format, the report output we will get in CSV. Except that CSV, what other formats we have? We have format as PDF, we have format as data that is XML. So if you want to get the report output format in PDF, we have to pass here as a PDF. PDF here. If you want to get the report output format in XML here, XML, so here we just have to pass value as XML. So whatever value we will pass it here, whatever value we will pass it here, it will just override the value here in this default, whatever is given here, and the output format will consider that one only. So here, this attribute format is optional, but obviously we sometimes we are passing this one. So I will not remove this field, and I will remove this mapping here. Now attribute local template time zone UI local bypass kaise, it's not required, so I'm just going to remove all this field here. So just you can see inside the reports request we have only one field mandatory, or that optional we are going to utilize that attribute formats. Remaining I have deleted. Now after that you can see we have dynamic data source. So this dynamic data source, inside that you can see JDBC data source, and then we have drivers and all. So all this whatever you are able to see here in the data source, right? So this data source is just related to the data model. And we already mapped the data model with these reports, and in the data model already we selected our data source and set and all. So we don't require to pass that there anything. Here you can see in our data model we already created the data set. In the data set we already selected the source and all. You can see everything, so we don't need to pass anything here. So I'm just going to remove this dynamic data source also. You can see just by removing, just make sure that you didn't remove any additional things. So just select here, you will get to know that line number 20 and line number 7. So I'm just going to remove from line number 7 to 20. Again, this flatten XML, it's not required. I'm going to remove this one too. Now here we have parameters name value. So inside the report request, we have parameter name value. And if you will see the parameters name value, we have one comment that 0 or more repetitions. It means that it's saying that our reports can have parameters, or parameters can be one or more than one. So this items is that parameters. So whatever number of parameters we have in our reports, we have to repeat this item that number of time. You can see. So this is the item. So let's see that what all values are there inside the item. So I'm just going to remove this comment here. Now inside the items you can see UI type, data type, date format, string, data type and all. And all these things, if you will see when we define the parameters for the reports, it's already there. We will select that one. So not required past this. So as of now, I'm just going to remove all the value from inside the items except the name. And here you can see when I'm going to delete this one, so this name will be the report parameters name. So as of now, I have not added any report parameters. So I'm just not going to pass anything here, but I'm just going to remove additional fields so that it will be easy for you to understand that the flow or understand the logic for invoking the reports. So inside the item means that numbers, right? So parameters name value, how many parameters we have, that item, that numbers of the items we will have. So right now you can see we have only one item node. It means that it can be that we have only one parameters, but still we don't have parameters, so we don't have any value here in the name. And after this name, all these values are not necessary. I'm just going to delete this one. So I'm going to delete this one as a refreshing parameters on change, select all template parameters, use null for all. All these are the properties of the parameters and data set. So I'm just going to delete this one too. Now here we have values. So this items, inside the item we have name. That name is saying that the parameters name, and this value is saying that what value will be there for the parameters. And again you can see one of the comment that we can have multiple values for a single parameters. So that's why here we have that repeating node. So as of now, as we don't have any parameters, we have not passed any name, and as we don't have any name, obviously we won't have any items value. So I'm just going to remove it here. So now you can see this is our parameters, and I told you if our report having multiple parameters, we just have to repeat these items now. If we have two parameters in our reports, we will have to report these two times. This item two times, and this will be, and this there will be two names, one names here, another name here, and the value for this two name. So I'm just going to delete as of now here. Now here we have the parameters. So these two generally we are using. That's why I have not deleted this one, so that you can also make a note of that too. And after the parameters name value, this parameters and date, here we have the next thing, that is report absolute path. So this report absolute path is the actual part of your BIP report that you want to invoke. And from where you will get the report path. So to get the report path, you just have to navigate to again to the BIP publishers page here. So this is our report, and what is the path for the report? So path of report, you can see shared folder, custom, and integrations. So always we are skipping the shared folder because the report is there in the shares only, that the common one. So inside the shared, what folders we have? So inside the shared folder we have custom. So your report path will start from custom, not from shared folder. Remember. So report path will be custom. Inside the custom, we have integrations folder, and then inside the integrations folder, we have this name, and then the format of this name. So as this is report, so the format will be XDO. So like here, you are not able to copy this directly. Here, you are not able to just copy the names. What you will do, just click here, go to the properties, and if you go to the properties here, you will be able to see the locations. So obvious share folder, I told you that share folder we are not going to pick. So after the share, whatever is there, we have to pick. So after the folder, we have custom. So I'm just going to take a copy of this name here. I'm just going to make in the pad somewhere. So this is the report directory I'm just going to make. And after this integrations, inside the integrations folder, we have the report. So this is our report name. So I'm just going to copy the report name here. And what is the format of this report? So you can see the format of this report is XDO. So I will just have to copy this XDO. So this is our complete report path. So this is the simple way where you will get the report path. There is another way to get the report. So report path. So just click here in the more, go to schedule here. Once you will go to schedule, it will give you the complete path. You can just copy and then here you can see this is our report path. So just go and copy this report path here. And if you will paste, you will be able to find the same. So either you can go for the properties of the report, or you can go in the schedule to just check the complete path of the report. Right? You can see here we have the .xdo. So this is the report path we get to know. So this report path where we have to pass, this is the report path we have to pass to this absolute path here. Now after that report data, we don't want to pass anything. Report output path, nothing, no need to pass. Report raw data, no need to pass here. So I'm just going to remove all this. After that, we have here one of the field, that size of data chunk download. This is the very most important part. Remember, most of the interview they will ask you that what's the use of this size of data chunk download, and like what value we have to pass. So as this is our BIP reports, and we want that whatever number of data there for this BIP report, we want to get all the data in single call only, in the single hit only. That's why here we have to pass as -1. So here in size of data chunk download, we are passing -1, means we are saying that whatever number of data, whatever number of records are there, whatever size is there for the report, just return me the all size in a single hit, all data in a single hit. That's why we pass -1. So except that -1, you can pass any positive value. So if you will pass any positive value, it means, for example, if you will pass 100 here, so what it will give you? It will give you 100 bytes of data only from the report. For example, this report output having 200 bytes. So as you pass this 100 here, so it will return you the 100 bytes of data only. So for example, till here we have 100 bytes record. Or for example, till this character, this all the characters make that 100 byte. So it will give you the data till here only. And then once we are passing any positive value, so the very first thing that it will give you that number of bytes of data. And another thing it will do, what it will download full file report, file data, and it will place the file data to UCM server, and it will return you the file ID. I will show you that too. And then based on the file ID, we have another operations available in same services, that's get download report data chunk. So you can utilize this services to download remaining data which is available. So that's different things we'll discuss later. So now we get to know that size of data chunk why we are using. After that, you can see report request completed, and then we have apps parameter. No need to pass anything in the app parameter. We are going to delete here. So this is the request payload to invoke BIP report. So as our BIP report have not having any parameters, we are not passing anything here. If our reports will have parameters, we will pass parameters. We'll show you that one. Now this is the report output format. So attribute format, if you will pass, report data will be there in that format. If you will not pass, it will just give you the report output data in the format which you have already defined as a default. So default, we already explained you that. Let me show you again. So if you will edit here, go to view a list, and you can see the default format is data CSV. So if I will run this, if I will invoke this web services with the payload, it will give us data in basic, it will give us data in the CSV format. So I'm just going to copy this one and going to show and paste it here. So now this is our request payload. This is our request payload to, I'm just going trying to make it a bit larger. This is the request payload to invoke the BIP report. Now we cannot directly invoke, right? So as this request is going to hit for this dev 13 Fusion ERP, so obviously to invoke these web services with the parameters, it required credentials, that ID password. So you have to provide the ID password to that. So where you will pass in SOAP UI, you just have to click on this auth here in the below one. You have to select the authorizations type. So I will just go for new auth. Then we have select the type as basic, and then you have to provide the ID password. So I have already the ID password handle. So I'm just going to pass the ID and password here. Password here. Just click on again to this auth so that it will hide this box. So now we given this, we set that ID password to invoke this web services with this request payload. Now to invoke or to run, you just have to click on this run button. So once you will click on this run button, this will invoke this API and it will pass this request payload. And now you can see we got the response, and the response we got as 200 OK. And if you will see what value we receive, just click on this XML here. You can see this is in raw right now. Just click on XML. You will be able to see the output. Let me copy this output here. And if you will see what output we receive, you can see in the output we have report return. You can see run report return. This is the response, and the response we have run report return, and in the return we have report byte. So this report byte is our actual data of the BIP report. And this report byte is in base60 format. Remember, so whenever you will invoke BIP report using SOAP web services, that the SOAP web services, that external report WSS services, it will give you the report data in base64 format. That's a report byte you can consider. It will give you the report byte in base64 format. There. And now you can see few of the details related to the report content type, that's text plain, as we have always the CSV we selected. And here you can see if you will pass XML here. So as I told you, if you will not pass anything here, by default it will take whatever you have set default. If you will pass that specific format here, so it will give you the data in that format only. I can show you. It's 200 OK. Copy this code. And here if I will paste the same code, you can see this is the text XML. This is the XML and this is the CSV, the text plain. So you see that what's the meaning when we are passing any report or attribute format here. Now we got that value, but point is like this value is not in readable format, right? It's in base64. So how you will read that file data, right? So to just read this data, just copy this one, and you can use any tool available. Convert this or to decode this one. So I'm just going to use decode. So there is one website that base64 code decode.org. I'm just going to paste it here. So once you will paste your base64 code here, click on decode. It will give you the actual data for this base64 code. And you can see this is our actual data. Just copy here. You can see CSV data, right? Column, headers, and all the data in the comma. And if I can show you the another one, so this report byte, if I will copy this report byte and I will paste the report byte here and convert, you will be able to see this report byte in XML format. You can see this is XML format. You can see, right? So this is the way you can invoke. So here what we have done, we have followed the step. The very first step is to invoke the PID report using source services. Second step, whatever data we receive, the data in the base 64. So we have put the data. So we use any tool web services, any website to convert that base 64 into actual format, actual file format. So this is the step data. The same step, similar step we have to done in OIC. So now let me add parameters in the IP reports and then I will show you that how you can like add the parameters. So this is the report. So instead of doing the changes in the same report, I'm just going to create a copy of the report. So how you can create a copy of this report? So whatever things you have to take a copy. So here we have archive concept. Just select the data model and here you can see we have the archive. Do we have options for copy? Yeah, we have one more options for copy also. I'm just going to select here copy and I'm going to paste it here. So I'm just going to create more folder here with this name report with parameter, and inside the folder I just want to paste. So as we already copy, and here you can see we have options for paste. You can see this is the option for paste. So just click here. So whatever you have copied, data model, the data model will be available here for paste. Similarly, I will go one step back. So here this is the icon, but it's not able to see. Just I will go back this integration, and this is the report. I will again copy this report. So this report I will copy here. I will go to the folder and I will paste it here. You can see now we have this report. So I will just change the report name, the data model name. So I will change the data model name to IMV P underscore DM. A similar way, I will change the name of this one to P underscore report. We'll consider that report with parameters. So now, first we have to do the changes in this data model, right? So to do the changes in data model, just click on edit here. And this is the data model where we have write the query, right? This data set, inside the data set, we have this data set one. So just here we have to add the parameters. Just click it here. And here, this is our query. So to add the parameters in query, there is two ways. So directly you can add parameters here, and once you will click on OK or that submit, it will ask you to create parameters with the name. Or otherwise, there is another way just to create parameter first and then add the parameters in your query. For example, this is our parameters here. Just click here, and here you can see we have plus icon to create the parameters. I'm just going to click on plus. Here it's asking the name. So parameters name, for example, I'm going to give them p underscore row, number of p underscore number of records. So here you can see I use the name p underscore number of record, and if you will see, while giving the name I use p in a small underscore, n for n is in capital, o is a small, another of for o is capital, f is a small, and all. So I will show you that why I use this one. So this is our report parameters name. What will be the type for the parameters? I'm just going to make this integer. Default value do you want to set? No, I don't want to set any default values. Parameters type, it will be text box that you can simply type, or it will be menu, it will be text, or it will be search box and all that you can select. So as of now, I'm just going to make it as text. And do you want to make that parameters as mandatory? Then you can select as tick here. So as of now, I don't want to make it mandatory anymore. Now here you can see we have the properties for the parameters. So these parameters you can see this is the name of the parameters as p underscore num1. So this is the backend name. So in your query, you will use this name in your query. But what name you want to display? So you can see that when we submitted a report, right? So we submitted. So what kind of name you want to see there? That's the label you can say. So the text label. So let's say that I want to give as number of rows, number of records, let's say. And now you can see that you can say that the size of your text box and all. And here we have few of the options to accept that the field has a comma separated values, or that you can make that if you have multiple parameters, that parameters can be dependent on any other parameters. So that also we can do, so that whenever changes they will do in the first parameters, you can refresh second parameters automatically. So that kind of logic you can add. Just allow me one. So now in data model SQL queries, to make that parameters, we just have to add the columns here. So as we added columns here, it will make this value as a parameters, and it parameters means that the query will accept that this value at runtime. So whatever value we will pass, it will display the record accordingly. For example, if we will pass it here hard coded value, let's say that we pass here as row name is equals to 2 less than 2. So if I will go to query here, here we have done mistake. Okay, so here we have to add one more add conditions and make it less than equals to. So if we will run, so whatever number of record will be there, it will give us only two records, just because we added the validations. We added the filter to display only two records. Similar way, if we will add display here as 6, so it will give us the 6 record only. So for this value, whatever here we given the hard coded, we want to make it as a parameters query. Like I can show you this. Go to data, here select that one, and why it's showing parameters. Okay, let's we added. So view. So you can see here we have 6 records, 3 and 3, 6 record added here. So instead of that providing value in the code itself, I want to pass this value at runtime. That's why we have parameter concept. So we created already parameters. Now we have to pass these parameters here by this column. So now I'm just going to replace this query. And you can see we added the query. Let me save it here. In the data, you can see it was like number of records saving here, and this is the text box where we can pass the value. So whatever number of value we will pass, that number of record it will display. For example, I'm going to pass 3 here. Just click on view. So this 3 will be passed at runtime to this. This 3 will be replaced here, and it will give us the result according to the value. So now you can see if you go to table here, we have 3 records. If I will pass 1, it will give us only 1 record. If we will pass here as 9, so I'm just going to make it more. So it will display only 9 records. Here you can see 3, 3, 6, and 3, 9. So same thing how we can pass through the web services. To pass the same thing through web services, again we have to utilize the parameters. Now you can have the confusion, right? So parameters name you can see here number of record, but this is not the name. This is the label for parameters. So that's why whatever names you created here in the parameters list, that p number score number of records, the same value you have to pass in the query, and same value you have to pass in the web services request payload. So this is our web service request payload, and this is the name. So you can see inside the parameters name, I'm just going to make a copy of this one. Okay, so here we have, where is our query? Just I'm going to make a copy of this and paste it here just for backup. Now here we have to add the parameters. So to add the parameters, you can see inside the parameters name value we have items. That item is saying that how many parameters. So as of now we have only one parameters, that's why this item will be only one. And inside the items we have name, and this name is something that the parameters name. What is the name of your parameters? So what is the name of parameters? We have already make a note of that one. Where is this name of parameters? Here, right? This is the parameters name. So you can take it from query or anywhere. So the same value you have to pass it here. Now we given the parameters, and what value you want to pass to the parameters, just you have to pass it here. So I just want to pass value as 2. So we given the parameters name, we given the value for the parameters, and this is the report details. So obviously we change the reports. So I'm just going to update the report here. So I'm just going to save it here. So our data model got saved. Now I have to link this data model with our report. So this is our report. As you can see, I just copy the report from the old one. So linking will also all always be changed, right? So you can see this is the result. This is the old result. By default, it's showing, right? As we added the parameters. So if I can show you, if I will edit it here you can see this is P underscore report. This is our latest report, but data model is linked as old. So why it's linked as old? Just because we just have a copy and paste. So now we have to replace this data model with our latest data model. So just click on this search. And here you can see this is a directory where we have the data reports created. And this is the data model P underscore DM. So just select this data model by, you can just select or click on OK or double click there. I'm just click on here. OK. Now you can see data model got changed. I'm going to make it save here. So now data model we linked here. This is the layout, a template created. So I'm just going to delete this layout so that I can use our latest layout for the reports. So as even if we didn't delete, it will work because we have not done any changes in the columns and all. But just for brief, so I'm just going to add new layout. So click on new. And once you will click on new, so obviously we have options to generate the layout automatically. So select the generate here. Give the template name. So I will give the template name as TMP1. Click on generate. Now you can see the template got generated. And if you will go to the view list, the default format is HTML. So all these are coming default, and these all are coming default format here just because in the output format we have tick here. So I'm just going to remove all the tick from here. So you can see if I remove all this tick, we are not able to see any value here. Now I will make a tick as PDF. I will make a tick as CSV, the XML, CSV. So these three format I just want to give here. So now you can see these three formats here. By default, we have PDF, or we can save that XML or CSV. So by default, let me go for CSV as of now. Now I'm just going to make it save. Now it's saved. Now let's run this report to test. So go for view report. In the view report, you can see whatever parameters we added, that's the parameters we are able to see here. That's the number of records. So as whenever we are clicking on the view reports, it's automatically going to execute. As we have not any value by default given, it will just give the data as we don't have any value. So now pass any value here. For example, I'm going to pass here as 13. Click on apply. So as we pass 13 here, you will be able to see the 13 records here, 13 row. So vendor ID is same for all. If you will just copy and find, you can see 13. So here we have 13 row. And you can see, you can observe one thing here, the first column as P underscore that number of records. So whatever number of parameters you will have, if you will select the output format at CSV, by default, all the parameters will listed as a prefix. So your column start from here, but you have the parameters. So that's why that parameters value is reflecting here. You can remove this also. So just go to setting and to just, you can remove there. So I can show you from where we can remove this one. So in the data model, let me see, it's in data model or report. If you go to properties, include parameter tag, you can see XML outputs include parameters tag. No, I don't want to include parameters tag. Just remove this here. This is from the properties. You can see in the data model we have properties. This is from properties only. Now I'm just going to save it here. Save. If you will just go view data. Now just going to view. So as we have not passed, it will not display any data. If we pass 9, it will display the data as 9. I'm just going to show you the reports too. So now this is our reports. I'm just going to open it here. Open means run the reports. I'm going to pass as 11 or 12. So now click on apply. Now you can see we don't have that parameters. So directly I started from invoice ID, that's 45 and all. So these things you can also try. So now let me just run this report, this parameters report. So obviously we need the path for this report. So obviously for getting the path, I will directly just go to this schedule to copy the path instead of just copying path and all towards. I will just copy this here. And this is our, so yeah, so here I will just change the path here. Now we given the parameters, we given the values, we given the directory, and obviously this chunk -1 will be there. I'm just going to submit. So now you can see we submitted, we got the response, and just go to HTML, and this is our response we received. And if you will copy the response here, this is the response, and we know that this response is in base64 code. So just copy the response here and go to the same portal to just decode the response. So here we got the value. Value we received. If I will show you here. Let me paste it here as XML. XML. And you can see how many records we have. We have 2 records. So why we have 2 records? Just because we pass 2 from the web services as parameters. We pass 2 here in the parameters. That's why we receive 2. If we will pass 4, we will get 4 records. And here the report output format as XML. That's why we receive XML file. If I will pass CSV here and 4, let me run this services. We got the value, so let me just check this value. I'm just going to decode it. Same thing we will do in OIC. First we will invoke the report, we'll get the base64 code, then we will convert this base64 code into actual file. In OIC we will see all this. And here you can see we got the receipts, we received the data, and this data in CSV format without parameters. Name. We VN4, that's why we have 4 values here, 4 row here. This is all about that invoking the BIP report using web services. Anyone having any questions and want to ask, feel free to unmute yourself and you can ask. I'm just a bit late today, so I will skip that integrations part. Tomorrow we'll start from integrations. So invoking this report through integrations. Anyone having any questions and want to ask, you can please unmute yourself and you can ask.
Jafar, I have one question. This is
Yeah,
Gomes.
yeah, please.
Yeah, and so the parameter sometime you will have a default value, right? In that
Okay.
case, you can ignore sending the parameter. How will you handle that kind of situation?
Yeah, right. So that's will be for that your report query, right? So in you are saying that sometimes we require that not to pass any parameters, correct? That's you are referring the same.
Yeah, yeah. Though you have parameter, you will have some initial value or something,
Hmm.
which means that will be taken if you are not passing parameter.
Yeah. So that's why like in SQL we have NVL concept. So we can take care that
Mm-hmm.
using that NVL. So if we have that
Mm.
null, so what value you want to pass? So I'm just saying that where is our query? I can show you that one.
Yeah. Anything you need to do in Vistal also?
No, nothing. In this case, no need to do anything. Obvious in OIC, we
Oh,
have to
okay,
take care of
okay.
that part. For example, I can show you this. This is the query. I'm not going to change here. So you mean that sometimes it can be possible that we don't want to pass any parameters, right? So
Right,
right
right.
now we have a code as pronoun is less than equals to whatever parameters we have, p number of row
Mm.
something, right? So that's why we have NVL. So in SQL we have NVL one functions, that NVL will having one parameters, and it will return you the second parameter. For example, here I pass 99. So this 99 is the second parameters of NVL. So what NVL will do, if it will find null value here, in this case, it means that user have not passed any value, then this 99 it will return. So in this case,
Okay.
99 will be there, this value. So that in this case, if user will not pass anything, it will give you that 99 values. And sometimes it's
Okay.
possible that we want to get all this value. So that's also like we are generally following that whatever is there, you can just pass it here. So if you have null value, so that's whatever value you have for the query, return the same. So that each and every row, it will be true. So that whatever is there, it will
Mm.
return the same row. That all records. So that kind of things we can handle using query. So it's not
Okay.
like related to mapping and all. Yeah.
Thank you.
Any other one? Any other questions?
Yeah, Zafar.
Yeah, please.
Uh, what happens if you pass the parameter in the wait services that doesn't match the internal name in the VIP?
Okay. So in this case, you will get an error. So that's why here you can see I use the same the capital S small letter whatever be given in the parameter. For example, we pass record S as a capital here. So now if we will submit, let's see, I will show you that error message what we are receiving. So that's why most of the time what will be happen. So maybe some other developer have developed the reports and you have to consume that report in your integrations. So they will give you the path, they will give they will give you the parameters name and all. And if you will invoke your report using that parameters and all, sometimes you will not get the data. So it doesn't mean that you don't have data from reports. So that's why in this case you have to make sure that the parameters you use, that the same parameters capital S small is there in the data model. So in that case, you can ask the developer that share the VIP report parameters which you use in the query. Or obviously, most of the time you will have the access of that reports analytics, so you can navigate to that report and you can copy the parameters from there itself. You can see in this case what we receive this base64 code. If you will convert it, you will get nothing. Just like DS we are receiving something like that. So just here, this is
Okay.
base64, and here you can see DS. We will use this one. We will utilize its value also in our code, and this will be where we will utilize. So once we go for OIC. And also sometimes what will happen here, for example, this is our correct value and we are getting data in this case. Yes, we have the base64 code value, right? And now I am just going to do a small mistake here. I am just going to make one extra space. So when we given one extra space, it means that this is the different directory, right? Now if you will submit, you will not get the result and it will give you an error message. So what error message is saying, that you can see here, report path is not valid. You can see something that I can show you. Report path not valid or something that you doesn't have permissions at all. So in this case also you can understand that somewhere you are doing mistake with this path. So here this XML format. You can see what the error message is. Generate report absolute path, and this is the path you passed. The failure due to that the create exceptions report definitions not found. You can see whatever you given that is not there in the system. That's true. User is not able to access this path just because we have the invalid path. So you can, in this way, if you will find something issues and you know that the report is there and we are getting error, it means that you have to look for the report directory. Maybe somewhere you done mistake. Maybe you added here while invoking you added a share folder also. So you have to remove all these things. So that's you can do your integrations. And also like if you remember like we when we are reading the file content in OIC, right, we need a structure to read, right? So we see the example we have where we have file at file server and we want to read the content of the file, so we need that a structure of the file so that we can pass into stage file. So using these tools, right, the software tool to execute the report this way. This will also help you to get the file structure. So before moving this and adding this into OIC, you can just run your report through web services so that you can get the base64 code, convert the base64 code manually from init, and then you will get the actual file, and that file you will use in OIC stage file to read the file of the reports and all. That also we will see tomorrow. Last questions anyone having, if you want to ask? Thank you so much everyone for joining. We'll discuss tomorrow. Yes, yes, Sunu, want to ask anything?
Yeah, Jafar, I have one question. Hello, are you audible?
Yeah, yeah, I'm able to hear you.
Yeah, how much data we can read in VIP report?
So in VIP reports we can read, yeah, I will show you that too. So we know that in the source of services we have limitations of 50 MB. It means that so whatever data we are receiving in this 64 code, that this 64 code can instantly cross the 50 MB. If it will cross, obviously you will not get a response here. It will generate an error. So that's why we have two options. One option that we can read the report output in return by passing the positive value and iterating the process again and again. And another can be that the report busting. So we can bus the report output to file server so that whatever bulk data it will be that report can generate, it will generate the report output to file server, and then OIC we can download the file from file server. Either it can be 100 MB, 200 MB, 1 GB. Thank you so much for joining everyone. Yeah, we can drop off.